Sean O'Malley has never been one to shy away from bold opinions, and his latest statement has sparked a major debate in the MMA world. According to O'Malley, Ilia Topuria is the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. Yes, even above Jon Jones. That's a claim that will definitely raise eyebrows, but O'Malley explained why he feels so strongly about it. The conversation began when the topic of Topuria potentially headlining the historic UFC event planned for the White House next year came up. The idea of Ilia facing Conor McGregor in that setting was floated, and while some pointed out that neither fighter is American, O'Malley brushed it off as irrelevant. To him, the magnitude of the matchup and the star power of the athletes involved would transcend national boundaries. Does it matter? O'Malley asked rhetorically. Ilia versus Conor is a massive fight anywhere, and for the White House event, it would be incredible. But O'Malley went further than just hyping up the matchup. He doubled down on his belief that Topuria is already the pound-for-pound greatest fighter to ever step inside the octagon. His reasoning? It's not just about winning, it's about how Topuria is winning. Ilia is pound-for-pound the greatest fighter to ever walk this earth, O'Malley declared. Even over Jones, I think. Look at what he's doing. It's not like he's barely edging out decisions. He's knocking out legends. O'Malley highlighted Topuria's last 3 performances as the foundation for his bold claim. In that run, Topuria has knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and Charles Oliveira. 3 men widely regarded as among the best fighters in UFC history. He's not going to decisions with these guys, O'Malley emphasized. He's not grinding them out with takedowns and holding them down. He's putting them away. These are pound-for-pound elite fighters who just couldn't stand with him. The significance of this, O'Malley explained, is that Topuria isn't just winning fights. He's finishing dominant champions and former champions in spectacular fashion. That, in his view, is what separates him from every other fighter in history, including Jon Jones. While Jones' legacy as the longtime light heavyweight king is undeniable, O'Malley suggested that the manner in which Topuria is dismantling top-tier competition deserves even greater recognition. Jon has an amazing resume, no doubt, O'Malley admitted. But Ilia's run, man, it's different. He's finishing guys who don't get finished. That's something special. Of course, this opinion is bound to be divisive. Jon Jones is often regarded as the most talented fighter to ever compete in MMA, with an undefeated record inside the octagon and a resume stacked with legends. To place Topuria above him at this stage of his career will certainly be controversial. Still, O'Malley's perspective reflects the growing sentiment that Topuria's meteoric rise cannot be ignored. Whether or not fans agree with O'Malley's bold proclamation, one thing is certain. Ilia Topuria is forcing the MMA world to rethink the pound-for-pound conversation. With knockout victories over champions and legends, and the possibility of headlining one of the biggest events in UFC history, his star power and dominance are undeniable. And if he continues on this trajectory, even those who currently disagree with O'Malley may one day find themselves echoing his words. Ilia Topuria, the pound-for-pound greatest of all time. Henry Cejudo has never been shy about speaking his mind, and this time, his focus is on Jon Jones and the UFC's upcoming White House card. In a recent discussion, the former 2-division champion stated that Jones made a serious mistake in how he handled his recent career decisions, and because of that, he may have cost himself tens of millions of dollars. According to Cejudo, despite Dana White publicly expressing doubts about Jon Jones headlining the highly anticipated White House event, he firmly believes the UFC president will eventually cave in and put Jones on the card. Dana White is going to cave, Cejudo insisted. He's going to give Jon that opportunity. However, in his view, the terms of that opportunity have changed dramatically, and not in Jones' favor. Cejudo explained that because Jones didn't defend his heavyweight title against Tom Aspinall earlier this year, he has lost leverage in negotiations. If Jones had fought Aspinall, Cejudo claims he could have commanded a payday in the range of $30 million. Now, however, he believes Jones will have to settle for far less. This is where Jon messed up, Cejudo said bluntly. In business, you cannot do that. You just can't. He's probably going to get paid half, maybe even less, somewhere around $10 million instead of what he could have made against Tom. For Cejudo, the issue isn't simply about missing a fight, but about missed business opportunities. In his eyes, Jones' decisions have weakened his bargaining position with the UFC. "You can't play the game like that," Cejudo explained. "You need to strike when the iron's hot. Right now, he's not in the same place to negotiate as he was before." Cejudo also addressed Dana White's hesitation to place Jones in such a high-profile spot. The UFC president has made it clear he doesn't fully trust Jones to headline an event of this magnitude, and Cejudo acknowledged why. "Jon Jones is a bit of a wild card," he admitted. "Things can happen. His legal record speaks for itself. And as much as I love Jon, those are just the facts." Jones' history of legal troubles, combined with his unpredictable behavior outside the octagon, has created concerns about his reliability. For a card as historic as the UFC White House event, Dana White may be reluctant to take risks with its main event slot. Still, Cejudo believes that the star power Jones brings to the table will ultimately outweigh those concerns. The real question, however, is whether Jones will be satisfied with the financial package he ends up with. From Cejudo's perspective, Jones has no choice but to accept that he won't be making the same kind of money he once could have. "This isn't the same deal anymore," he emphasized. "Jon could have walked away with $30 million if he fought Aspinall. Now, maybe he gets $10 million, maybe a little more, but nowhere near what it would have been." While fans eagerly wait to see how the White House card develops, the situation underscores the delicate balance between legacy, business, and opportunity in the fight game. Jon Jones is still one of the greatest fighters of all time, but as Henry Cejudo put it, "In business, you just cannot afford to make these kinds of mistakes." The UFC has just made an exciting addition to its upcoming schedule, officially announcing that a lightweight clash between Beneil Dariush and Benoit Saint-Denis has been added to the UFC 322 card. This matchup immediately caught the attention of fans and analysts alike, as it pits two high-level competitors against each other in a fight with major implications for the lightweight division. Benoit Saint-Denis, also known as the God of War, has quickly become one of the most exciting rising stars in the UFC. Fresh off his recent appearance at UFC Paris, Saint-Denis showcased his grappling prowess with a second-round submission victory over Mauricio Rua. That performance further solidified his reputation as a relentless fighter with dangerous finishing ability. Known for his aggressive style and ability to push the pace, Saint-Denis has been on a steady rise, earning both the respect of fans and the attention of top-ranked contenders. On the other side of the matchup stands Beneil Dariush, one of the most respected veterans in the lightweight division. Dariush is coming off a unanimous decision win over Renato Moicano at UFC 317, a fight in which he reminded the MMA world why he has consistently been a fixture near the top of the rankings. With his well-rounded skill set, Dariush has proven over the years that he can compete with the very best in the world. His mix of world-class grappling, sharp striking, and composure under pressure makes him a dangerous opponent for anyone in the division. This fight is not only an exciting stylistic matchup, but it also carries significant weight in the lightweight title picture. For Saint-Denis, a victory over Dariush would be the biggest of his career, potentially catapulting him into the top tier of the division. At just 28 years old, the French contender is seen by many as a future title challenger, and defeating a name like Dariush would cement his place among the elite. For Dariush, this fight represents both an opportunity and a test. After falling short in previous attempts to secure a title shot, he knows that every win is crucial to keeping his championship hopes alive. Facing a surging opponent like Saint-Denis gives him the chance to reaffirm his status as one of the division's gatekeepers to the very top, while also silencing critics who may believe his best years are behind him. From a stylistic standpoint, fans can expect fireworks. Saint-Denis brings relentless forward pressure, a willingness to trade strikes, and a dangerous submission arsenal once the fight hits the mat. Dariush, meanwhile, is a seasoned veteran with the experience to stay composed, weather storms, and capitalize on openings. The clash of youthful aggression versus veteran savvy makes this fight one of the most intriguing bouts booked for UFC 322. With both men carrying momentum into the contest, the stakes couldn't be higher. UFC 322 just became even more compelling, as Beneil Dariush and Benoit Saint-Denis prepared to collide in a fight that could reshape the landscape of the lightweight division. Interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall has shared his thoughts on the upcoming UFC 320 card, and his predictions are already sparking conversation. Aspinall, who is never afraid to speak candidly, believes the highly anticipated rematch between Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira will end in another victory for the Russian contender. "I think Ankalaev is going to do it again," Aspinall said while running through the stacked lineup for UFC 320. Although Pereira has proven himself to be one of the most dangerous strikers in MMA, Aspinall feels Ankalaev's well-rounded skills and ability to impose his game plan will once again be the deciding factor. For Aspinall, this matchup is less about star power and more about discipline and execution, two areas where he gives Ankalaev the edge. But Pereira versus Ankalaev isn't the only fight that caught Aspinall's attention. He broke down the card bout by bout, starting with Avis Magomedov versus Joe Pfeiffer. According to Aspinall, Pfeiffer's knockout power is the difference maker. Joe Pfeiffer by knockout, he predicted confidently, citing Pfeiffer's ability to capitalize on openings and close fights in devastating fashion. Moving on to Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zalal, Aspinall again leaned toward knockout potential. Emmett, known for his explosiveness and heavy hands, earned Aspinall's pick. Josh Emmett by knockout, he declared, suggesting that Emmett's experience and finishing ability will overwhelm Zalal. Perhaps one of the toughest matchups to predict, in Aspinall's view, is the light heavyweight showdown between Jiří Procházka and Khalil Rountree Jr. Procházka, the unpredictable former champion, is known for his unorthodox style, while Rountree has been on an impressive streak. After weighing both sides, Aspinall gave a slight nod to the Czech fighter. "That's a tough one to call," he admitted. "But I'd say Jiří by decision." Another highly anticipated fight on the card is the clash between Merab Dvalishvili and Corey Sandhagen. Aspinall openly praised Sandhagen, calling him very good, but ultimately sided with the surging Georgian contender. "I don't want to pick against Corey, but I think Merab is unstoppable right now," he explained. Dvalishvili's relentless pace, pressure, and wrestling have made him a nightmare for opponents, and Aspinall doesn't see that changing anytime soon. Finally, the main storyline of UFC 320. The rematch between Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. Pereira's striking has already earned him championships in two divisions, but Aspinall isn't convinced it will be enough this time either. He believes Ankalaev's composure, technical skills, and ability to control distance will once again neutralize Pereira's knockout power. "Tough fight," Aspinall admitted, "but I think Ankalaev is going to do it again." With his predictions laid out, Aspinall's breakdown reflects a deep understanding of the sport and its fighters. While fans may not agree with all of his picks, particularly his stance on Pereira losing again, his analysis adds to the intrigue and anticipation surrounding UFC 320. As fight night approaches, the question remains: will Aspinall's predictions prove accurate, or will the chaos of MMA once again deliver surprises that no one saw coming? UFC middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis has given his prediction for the highly anticipated rematch between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev, and he believes Poatan will reclaim the light heavyweight title this time around. Speaking on the matchup, Du Plessis explained that he expects a sharper, more focused version of Pereira to step into the octagon. According to him, Pereira is entering this fight with the mentality of a man determined to prove a point, especially as he nears the later stages of his career. "He's not a young guy anymore," Du Plessis noted, "so it's going to be exciting to see what he does after this, regardless of the outcome. But based on what I've seen from him in training, he looks sharper, more intense, and hungry again." Du Plessis emphasized that Pereira's striking has never been in question. With some of the most devastating knockout power in UFC history, Pereira has always been a dangerous opponent on the feet. However, Du Plessis pointed out that the key to victory lies not in the striking, but in strategy, specifically, keeping his back off the fence. "That's where Ankalaev was successful the first time," Du Plessis explained. "He stayed away from the danger on the feet, closed the distance smartly, and forced Pereira onto the back foot. That's not Pereira's style. He's not at his best when he's moving backward." According to Du Plessis, Pereira and his team have likely addressed that weakness during his time away from competition. "I believe they've spent a lot of time working on that," he said. "And honestly, I think the break was good for him. Sometimes you need to reset, step away from the sport, and come back with that hunger. That's what I'm seeing in him now." When analyzing the first fight, Du Plessis acknowledged Ankalaev's intelligence in approaching Pereira. By avoiding prolonged striking exchanges and closing the gap decisively, Ankalaev neutralized Pereira's power and forced him into uncomfortable positions. However, Du Plessis doesn't believe Ankalaev should attempt to strike with Pereira this time. "I know Ankalaev says he's going to strike with him, but I don't think that's a good idea," Du Plessis warned. Pereira is too dangerous in those exchanges. If Ankalaev tries to go strike for strike with him, it could end badly. Du Plessis also expressed confidence that this rematch will not go the distance. With both men carrying immense finishing ability, he expects a decisive ending one way or another. Still, his prediction remains firm. Pereira will rise to the occasion. "I don't see this fight going to the judges," Du Plessis said. "But I'm putting my money on Pereira to claim the title. I had to go with him." As UFC 320 draws near, fans are divided on whether Ankalaev can repeat his success or if Pereira will make the necessary adjustments to regain his belt. For Du Plessis, however, the answer is clear. Alex Pereira will walk out of the octagon as the light heavyweight champion once again.